From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Morning Edition.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us. I'm Kelsey Thorid. Welcome to our Saturday showcase. We start with changes at the top at two of the Bay Area's largest police departments. In a moment, Katie Nielsen will introduce us to business owners in Oakland with opinions about what the next police chief should do there. But first, Lauren Toms and the man who is about to become chief in San Francisco.
I truly believe we are entering a golden era in San Francisco.
After a nationwide search, Mayor Daniel Lurie has selected Deputy Police Chief Derek Liu to lead the department. He will succeed former Chief Bill Scott, who led the department since 2017.
It is truly the honor of a lifetime, and I'm thrilled to lead a department that is the gold standard in policing.
A San Francisco native, Liu says growing up, he never imagined a career in law enforcement. After a brief stint in finance, he returned home to serve the community that shaped him. He rose the ranks from an officer at Bayview and Mission stations to sergeant at Central Station to captain of Ingleside. And just months ago, he was tapped to lead the city's Drug Market Coordination Center, a multi-agency effort aimed at disrupting the fentanyl crisis.
Addressing the drug crisis and improving conditions on our streets is not up for debate. We will continue this work. We will build on our progress, and we will ensure our streets are clean and safe for everyone.
He's stepping into the role at a critical moment for the force, which remains 500 officers short. He tells us recruitment will define the early months of his tenure.
I would say it's right near the top, if not the top, because our officers right now, they're out there every single day. We're asking a lot of them, having to work mandatory overtime, coming in on days when they're normally off. So getting them some relief is at top of mind.
That shortage has been felt across the city, including in Bernal Heights, where a woman was killed by a driver just 2 months ago. Resident Alfredo Fletes says a fully staffed force could bring the kind of traffic enforcement his neighborhood has been hoping for.
I really would like to see the new police chief take pedestrian safety really seriously. For me, I feel the most unsafe when there's a car that's speeding by my block or this main Cortland corridor. So I'd love to see more foot police taking it seriously.
Mayor Lurie says Liu's ties to the city and his 2 decades within the department made him the clear choice.
And I am thrilled. He was born and raised here in San Francisco. He's overseen some of the most complex operations. He's been overseeing our drug market operations, and I've seen him in action since I took office, and he is the next generation leader for the department. He's the leader that this city needs and deserves.
And with citywide crime down 25% from last year, Liu's tasked with restoring public trust, visibility, and momentum inside the ranks.
I've served the SFPD for over 2 decades, and I wouldn't want to work anywhere else. A place where our officers are proud to work, and ultimately to ensure San Francisco is the safest city in America.
Across the Bay in Oakland, Chief Floyd Mitchell spent his last day on the job this past Thursday. Katie Nielsen introduces us to 2 business owners with hopes for whoever takes over and with differing views toward the problem of crime.
Crime rates have been a concern for small business owners in Oakland for years. And now, with a leadership change coming at the police department, the big question they all have is, are things going to get better or possibly even worse?
We have, little small hole in the wall here at the restaurants.
Alan Liang was born and raised in Oakland and now runs a handful of businesses out of his building off the Hagenberger corridor, including 2 restaurants, an auto body shop, and an impound lot for a towing company.
Body shop, we're doing pretty okay. We're busy.
He says crime in the area has really impacted all of his businesses.
Across the street is the gas station. They used to rob people there, and we would witness it on a daily basis. A lot of that stuff. Break-ins, we had one maybe 2 weeks ago. Both warehouses.
He says the turnover with multiple police chiefs in the city of Oakland over the past few years is a big part of the problem because criminals see the city as a place where they can get away with anything.
People think it's okay for them to continue to commit crimes here in Oakland, and they know that it's a very slim chance that they're going to get caught.
Across town in the Laurel, Richard Santana is actually expanding his coffee business, Cafe Santana, and just recently bought a new building to open another location just a mile away.
I believe in Oakland. I believe that it is a very appealing place to be. The diversity, the culture, the food.
He says buying the new building is a major investment for him and his family in the future of the city. But as an Oakland native, there weren't many other viable options.
Sure, we have doubts sometimes, especially opening up a business. But this is a beautiful place to be. I'm going to do my part to make it a productive, loving, caring community.
Santana says while the chief of police is an important role in the city, it's not the only factor when it comes to issues with crime.
My hope is that it doesn't just fall on this one person, and that as a city, there are efforts being made to make the community safe, to invest in the community.
While both business owners have differing opinions on the issues surrounding crime in the city, they both are committed for the same reason. It's home.
I still have a lot of faith in this community, and that's why I want to stay.
I'm staying here because this is home. This is my life. This is where I want to be.
Okay, switching to weather now with meteorologist Zoe Mitz. Zoe, it's cold, it's foggy.
It feels like winter.
It's December.
Yeah, it officially is here. Days are getting shorter through the 21st and then getting longer again. But
no, that's my favorite when it starts to get a little brighter.
Exactly. But what we're dealing with this year that we haven't dealt with in the past several years is the thick, dense, stubborn Thule fog that just does not seem to want to budge from our Central Valley communities. And there's more of it waking up this morning. It's going to stick around all weekend and through most of next week. So don't expect it to go anywhere other than maybe a few hours in the afternoon. It's going to continue to fill in basically every night. But what's really interesting is there's two different types of fog across the central part of the California coast right now. There's the Thule fog that we've been talking about, which is just radiation fog. Basically, it comes from those warmer temperatures and the moisture radiating from the ground and interacting with cooler air that's moving overhead. Now there's the marine fog that we are talking about as well. It's a completely different type of fog. It's known as advection fog. It all has to do with winds moving over the colder water. So both of these different types of fog are impacting us from two different directions and creating a pretty foggy start to our morning all across the Bay Area. So if you have any early morning plans, you probably want to give yourself some extra time, especially if you live across our North Bay, Inland East Bay, where there is those densest and lowest visibilities. Some areas are less than a half a mile, like up near Santa Rosa, but it's patchy dense fog. There's no dense fog advisory in effect this morning. I'll let you know how long these foggy conditions will stick around for and when a bit warmer weather will arrive coming up in my full forecast. Back to you, Kelsey.
Thanks, Zoe. Okay, coming up, San Francisco's newest supervisor says he will listen closely to the concerns of people in the Sunset, how he intends to navigate the bitter disagreements in that district. Now to some significant political developments in San Francisco and California. In a moment, Kara St. Cyr will look at the two latest candidates to join the race for governor and what each of them are focusing on. But first, I caught up with the man who became a San Francisco supervisor just this week.
Commissioner of the San Francisco County Transportation Authority.
San Francisco of the San Francisco County Transportation Authority.
And member of the San Francisco Board of Supervisors.
And member of the San Francisco Board of Supervisors.
Of the City and County of San Francisco.
Of the City and County of San Francisco.
Congratulations.
Surrounded by hundreds of supporters on the steps of Lincoln High School, his alma mater, Alan Wong became San Francisco's newest District 4 supervisor.
The Sunset is the community I love and the only home I've ever known. Serving as supervisor is the greatest honor of my life.
Wong was born and raised in the Sunset. His resume includes working as a policy advisor for former supervisor Gordon Marr, serving on the City College Board of Trustees, and working at the Children's Council of San Francisco. Those who know him best say he's had a love for local politics since he was a teenager.
So I first was introduced to Alan when he was 16 or 17. He walked into our Sunset Community Democratic Club meeting and said he wanted to be active and involved and wanted to help represent the young people and the Sunset. So here he is today, hopefully representing the Sunset.
Wong fills the hole left by former Supervisor Bea Alcaraz, who stepped down after just 1 week on the job when accusations of bad practices related to her former business surfaced. Mayor Daniel Lurie told us he has full confidence Wong will be in the position through the rest of the current term.
I know that we had a much more thorough vetting process, continue to get community feedback and buy-in, and that's what resulted in our new supervisor here. I'm really proud of the appointment. I look forward to working with him in the months and years to come.
Wong comes into the seat at a time when the Sunset is rife with political disagreement. Former Supervisor Joel Engardio was recalled by voters earlier this year after the passage of Prop K turned the Great Highway into a park. Many residents are also concerned about how the mayor's proposed family zoning plan will impact the Sunset. Wong says he plans to support the family zoning plan. He voted no on Prop K, but says he wants to listen to both sides of the debate, including the idea of a compromise ballot measure that would reopen the highway to cars on weekdays.
I will be meeting with stakeholders that supported both the closure of the Great Highway and those that supported the compromise, and ensure moving forward, before I make any decisions, major policy decisions, that I have public legitimacy and trust.
Angie Pettit owns Sunset Mercantile. She told me she was happy to see the new supervisor stepping up and putting his constituents' voices first.
I think he'll bring some balance, and I know that he's very focused on really bringing the community together after such a strange and hard time.
It's regaining that trust from locals that Wong says is his top priority.
Above partisanship or ideology, I ask my neighbors for some grace as I listen, learn, and step into this next chapter of my service.
Two men with divergent backgrounds, billionaire Tom Steyer and Congressman Eric Swalwell, have now jumped into the race for governor. At the moment, both candidates are emphasizing the issue of affordability. Kara St. Cyr looks at each of their strategies with the California primary now less than 6 months away.
In a race crowded with Democrats, one thing is clear. Affordability and opposition to President Trump are emerging as the issues dominating the Golden State's gubernatorial election.
Good morning. Happy Thanksgiving.
East Bay Congressman Eric Swalwell, the latest candidate to throw his hat in the ring, made both issues the center of his campaign at an event in Hayward, saying Californians are scared and prices are high.
The way I see it is the next governor of California has two jobs. One, to keep Donald Trump out of our homes, out of our streets, and out of our lives. And two, to bring a new California that brings down cost.
Swalwell discussed lowering the cost of food and health care, as well as bringing down housing and energy prices.
Right now, California calls itself proudly the fourth largest economy in the world. But what does that mean if you can't afford to live here?
While Swalwell was taking his message to a neighborhood, a similar theme will be playing out on the airwaves.
The richest people in America think that they earned everything themselves.
His opponent, billionaire Tom Steyer, released a new ad focusing on building housing.
They deserve to be able to afford to live in a decent house. I will launch the largest drive to build homes that you can afford in the history of California.
Affordability is a goal. It's not a actual policy.
Nolan Higdon, a political and media analyst at UC Santa Cruz and Cal State East Bay, says the candidates will need to offer concrete solutions to stand out from the pack.
What is going to differentiate the various candidates from each other is who has the more convincing or popular policies aimed at achieving affordability as compared to the other candidates.
Caroline Heldman, a political science professor at Occidental College, says the media landscape for this campaign will be inundated with ads in a way she says California has never seen before.
You have all of these candidates who are varying shades of Democratic, and they need to differentiate themselves. And I think we are just going to be hammered with advertising in order for them to get their message out, in order to differentiate themselves.
For now, the race is wide open with no clear frontrunner. A recent UC Berkeley poll found 44% of California voters are undecided.
Another poll released on Thursday by Emerson College finds 2 Republicans and Congressman Swalwell leading the pack. The Republican sheriff of Riverside County, Chad Bianco, is currently first with 13% support. Swalwell and former Fox News host Steve Hilton both have 12%. Former Democratic Representative Katie Porter is close behind at 11%, and Steyer is trailing with 4%. But the race remains wide open. 31% of California voters remain undecided. Coming up, a Bay Area farm with 500,000 chickens faces a potential threat from the bird flu. Why the owner worries that approaching winter could be especially difficult. Health experts are raising concerns about a resurgence of bird flu. 3 farms in the North Bay have already been hit hard as birds migrate back into the Bay Area for the winter. Brian Hackney introduces us to a researcher tracking this virus and a farmer hoping to protect his flock.
From the north coast of California to the Central Valley, 6 million wild waterfowl are now making their annual return into California.
And those are the kinds of birds that when they migrate down this time of year, over the last 4 years, are carrying this virus.
The virus is HPAI, highly pathogenic avian influenza, first detected in 1996, decimating wild bird populations, then spreading into the world's food supply.
And the longer this virus persists, the more species it persists in. So we don't know what's going to happen.
At UC Davis, Maurice Pateski has been tracking the virus for years.
So we're in year 4 of this avian influenza outbreak that started in North America in November of 2021.
2 years later, more than 1 million birds had to be destroyed in Sonoma County alone. Already this year, 3 farms there have been infected, all the birds destroyed. Where are we with avian flu this year?
So it has come back again with a vengeance, and we're starting to unfortunately see all the consequences of that with respect to commercial poultry.
My name is Mike Weber, and we're in Petaluma, California, the egg basket of the world, or as it was known at one time. So this is where we process eggs. All the eggs that are produced on our ranches are brought here. This is Weber Family Farms' main ranch, where we have about 500,000 chickens.
2 years ago, the virus hit Mike's farm.
This one here, there's a little bit of a stain on it.
Back then, they had to destroy 3 million eggs and 550,000 chickens.
When your animals contract it, every bird on the premise has to be euthanized.
Are we going to see more of that as we get between now and February?
This year, it's hard to imagine that this is going to go away magically at this point. We're going to have millions of wild waterfowl in the Central Valley of California.
And that's how it begins each year, with the annual southern migration.
We have wild waterfowl that are moving into California by the millions. So by this time next month, we'll have about 6 million waterfowl.
And a flock of geese can basically poop while they're flying. The poop comes down, gets into a chicken house, into the air vents, and then one chicken contracts it, and at that point they just start cranking up virus until they all die. In the last 3 years, the country's lost over 150 million egg layers. 150 million. It's a massive threat. It's the biggest threat we've ever faced.
Switching to weather now with meteorologist Zoe Med. Zoe, it's chilly but relatively dry. It's been nice.
I mean, it's not supposed to be this dry though. December is normally our wettest, if not one of the wettest months of the year. December, January, February. Those are normally top 3. San Francisco, it's actually December, but it kind of varies across different parts of the Bay Area. But we're supposed to be seeing rain this month. We haven't really seen any yet, and it's not going to likely happen until the middle to later parts of the month. So yeah, you don't really have to grab that umbrella, but you do have to give yourself extra time on the roads. As you can tell, thick fog building in. And downtown San Francisco, that thick fog really has just been building in the past couple of hours. So it wasn't as thick about 2-3 hours ago. It continued to build and build, but on top of the fog, on top of the clouds, it's a beautiful sunrise to kick off the day. This is our view from on top of Sutro Tower. You notice that fog lifts, it goes down, it goes up and goes down, and it's going to continue to lift throughout this afternoon. But what's not going to lift this afternoon is unfortunately the haze that you see. Yes, there is fog, but there's also a mixture of really bad air quality along with it. This is our current air quality. Most of the Bay Area is either at the moderate or worst category, either unhealthy for sensitive groups or just unhealthy in general. All of those dots in red, which you see a couple of those dots in that red mark in downtown San Francisco, over into our East Bay communities, San Jose down into the Santa Clara Valley. It looks like that sensitive group area. But either way, it's a really hazy and not great air quality start to our morning, and it's likely going to stick around again into the afternoon hours. By tomorrow and into early next week, offshore winds are going to develop, and that might help our air quality just a little bit, but still air quality, it's not going to be great into this upcoming week as high pressure is going to be sitting overhead, and that means it's going to be foggy across our inland East Bay communities and into the Central Valley of California, basically all weekend and into next week. So again, today it's going to take a while for this fog to lift. In our inland East Bay communities, you might not even see the fog lifting. It could be a completely foggy day, and you'll notice those areas in blue. That's where the fog is going to stick around and keep those temperatures a few degrees cooler. You're going to be sitting in the mid-50s across our inland East Bay and across our North Bay communities, but the farther south you go, the warmer it gets today. So Half Moon Bay, San Jose, you're going to be near 60 degrees, and then you get down to Santa Cruz, Monterey, and you're in the mid-60s, and it's only going to get warmer into tomorrow. As a lot of the fog, it's not going to stick around for much longer than early tomorrow morning. So yes, any early Sunday morning plans, you're still going to have to give yourself extra time, but by tomorrow afternoon, our inland East Bay communities are likely, at least by the afternoon hours, going to be seeing a little bit more sunshine. And look at what that does to the temperatures. No longer seeing those areas in blue across those inland East Bay communities because we're expecting more 60s across the entirety of the Bay Area, and maybe even some mid to upper 60s down near Monterey, Santa Cruz, over towards Hollister. So again, head south if you want to enjoy some warmer weather and enjoy some better air quality as well. Be aware, not only are we dealing with bad air quality and fog, but there's also the king tides going on this weekend. We're looking at anywhere from a foot to 1.7 feet of coastal inundation in those low-lying areas. High tide today, 11:25 a.m. So keep that in mind. Any plans that maybe you'll have closer to the water, if it's near 11:25, it's going to be really churned up. We're also going to be noticing quite a lot of that moisture well off to our north. High pressure dominating the state of California. And look at what it does to all of the rain. It pushes it over the Pacific Northwest. Places across Washington and Oregon are going to be seeing basically the whole week filled with rain. But for us, we're not going to be seeing any of that rain, maybe just a few clouds. And that's going to be the reason that we aren't going to be seeing basically any sort of activity when it comes to needing to wrap that umbrella. It's just going to be the fog across those inland areas that we're concerned about. And closer to the bay and the coastal communities, that's where the sunshine is going to be. That's where we're going to be seeing those temperatures sitting in the upper 50s to low 60s, early morning fog giving way to afternoon sunshine. Really nothing to talk about when it comes to rain, though, at least until the middle to later parts of the month. Back to you, Kelsey.
Thanks, Zoe. Okay, coming up, a look at the future of Fisherman's Wharf, a San Francisco landmark that has lost some of its luster. We examine the site's history and hear about the ambitious plans for revitalization.
From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Morning Edition.
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us for our Saturday showcase. I'm Kelsey Thorud. We turn our focus now to the concerted efforts to reshape San Francisco's Fisherman's Wharf. In a moment, Ryan Yamamoto talks with one of the leaders of that plan. But first to John Ramos and the merchants who have witnessed the historic area's gradual decline.
At one time, Fisherman's Wharf was said to be the third most visited tourist attraction in the entire world. Who knows if it was true back then, but it's certainly not the case today. This is probably the first moving image of Fisherman's Wharf, a film from 1897 taken with an Edison camera. It shows the old sail-powered Italian fishing boats arriving at harbor. Over the years, the working wharf became an attraction, tourists drawn to the large family-owned seafood restaurants.
It's fashionable to dine at Fisherman's Wharf, where giant crabs and shellfish are served fresh from boiling cauldrons in the open.
But in 2025, most of those restaurants are closed and shuttered, and the streets are nearly empty of visitors.
Good afternoon, Fisherman's Wharf. If you guys are walking around looking for something to do, our next cruise is leaving at 1 p.m.
Kathy Augustin works for the Red and White Cruise Company and says even the foreign tourist trade has dropped in the past year.
Ever since Trump came in the office, not a lot of tourists came here because we used to have big groups come from different places. France, German, Koreans, Mandarin people. Now we don't really get, it kind of depends, just like little groups of like 27, depends, yeah.
So you're seeing fewer foreign tourists in the area?
Yeah.
I think suddenly the recovery post-COVID has not been easy for a lot of places, I guess. And maybe people's habits have changed a bit too. A lot of places maybe are a bit more run down than they used to be.
That certainly describes the Wharf today, as century-old restaurants sit dark and vacant. But one still survives. Sabella and La Torre is the last of the legacy businesses on Restaurant Row. Fourth-generation owner Don McFarland says business was better for him when everyone was still open.
We used to have a crab season that opened on time. This place was bustling when crabs would start the second week in November. I think we're going on 4 years now with no crab season starting on time, and that has another effect on our business down here.
It's also had an effect on Erwin Evacuado. For more than 20 years, he has been one of the famous crab crackers that drew large crowds to the outdoor seafood markets.
Oh my God. Imagine people come over here to watch you when you start cracking the crab. Our lines from here end up right across the street. And sometimes the lines over here and it's over there. And then we got the restaurant. And from here, it goes right there. I remember those years. That was before. But now, all the delays and everything for the crab, it's totally different.
Do you have any hope that they'll come back?
I'm hoping, sir. I'm praying for that one. I'm praying for that. People are going to come back here to San Francisco and enjoy their stay here in the city.
It's a prayer being said by everyone who is still here. Everyone who knows what Fisherman's Wharf once was, and who still have hope of what it once again can be.
Well, a key developer is confident about restoring the wharf and making it better than it ever was. He tells our Ryan Yamamoto why he is optimistic about the project.
So Seth, when you walk down here, what is your image of this place, of what it used to be and what it can be?
Well, what it used to be was the part of the city that people came for special occasions. A lot of people you talk to who grew up in this area, whether they're from San Francisco or from the region, remember this was like the spot you went to celebrate big life milestone events.
When you see iconic restaurants like the Grotto and Alioto's right there, they're shut down. It's almost sad.
Oh, it's incredibly sad. The pandemic was really hard on this part of the city. As a part of the city that depends really heavily on tourism and visitor activity, this might have been the hardest hit part of the city of all of them.
What do you envision here?
Okay.
What do you want to see here?
Yeah, so what we'd like to do is, right now, if you're walking along Jefferson Street, which is kind of the main drag in Fisherman's Wharf, you hit this spot and there's just a parking lot. But the idea is to really fill it in with family-friendly spaces. So at this end, you've got the existing Crab Wheel Plaza, the iconic Fisherman's Wharf signage, and the plan is that this plaza would expand in size a little bit.
It looks the same when I was a little kid. That's also a charm and a problem.
It can be a challenge. I mean, I think we don't want to lose that those memories. A lot of people talk about the last time I was in San Francisco, I went here, I did that. We don't want to lose any of those elements. What we want to do is add complementary features. Some parks and outdoor space that's missing right now in the neighborhood, some opportunities to enjoy the bay views, and then, like I said, really elevate the presence of the fishing industry. What people don't realize is Pier 45's home to the region's fishing industry. Like, they're here, and this is the freshest fish and seafood in the entire region. And that's why this is Fisherman's Wharf, and yet the neighborhood's kind of lost its focus on that. We're not celebrating that. That should be the reason why people are coming here.
The demolition of Alioto's and the Grotto, which is being handled by the Port of San Francisco, is scheduled to happen next year. Those buildings will be replaced with a new public plaza, part of a $10 million facelift. As far as the rest of the project, connecting Pier 39 to Ghirardelli Square and Aquatic Park, that could start filling in with new development as early as 2027. Okay, let's get another look at our weather with meteorologist Zoe Mitz. Zoe, I know you said the air quality isn't too great today, but watching that story about Pier 39 and Fisherman's Wharf makes me want to go over there. I know you said it might be a little sunny, get some seafood.
Yeah, I was about to say, it'll get sunny this afternoon.
Okay, maybe when I get off work, we're close.
Exactly, but I mean, just look at right now. This is on top of Sutra Tower.
Ooh,
It's still pretty foggy, but the fact that it is lifting right now, that's kind of a good thing. And it will continue to lift, it will continue to dissipate, there will be sunshine. It's only gonna be in the 50s today though, so it's not gonna be super warm out there. You better grab a jacket if you haven't already early this morning. That fog though is going to be the biggest issue, the Thule fog. But it's not just the Thule fog, it's actually really interesting. There are two different types of fog impacting us early this morning. The Central Valley Thule fog, that thick fog that develops mainly when there's moisture with cold air moving overhead. Then there's the marine fog. The marine fog is what we see quite often here in California. It's definitely more typical in the summertime, but both of those areas of fog are converging on the bay. And the reason that we are so darned foggy early this morning, and I'd highly suggest giving yourself extra time, especially if you live across our North Bay or Inland East Bay, where there is visibility down to less than 2 miles. But if you want to head down towards Monterey, Santa Cruz, Salinas, those are the very quiet and dry spots right now. And their temperatures are pretty comfortable, mid to lower 40s. Inland areas, you're also in the mid to lower 40s. That's also a couple of degrees warmer than yesterday. But like I said, it's still going to be chilly this afternoon. I'll let you know exactly what to expect today, tomorrow, and through the rest of the upcoming week. Coming up in my full forecast. Back to you, Kelsey.
Thanks, Zoe. Okay, coming up, perhaps you're looking to make some local plans for the holidays. You take a trip to Glowfari, a colorful and distinctive celebration in Oakland. Now to some varied and creative celebrations for the holidays. In a moment, Itai Hod will introduce us to the conductor running a San Francisco performance of the Nutcracker, where the audience does more than just watch and listen. But first, to Suji Nam and the CEO of the Oakland Zoo, who explains how a display called Glowfari has become a love letter to Oakland.
So this is my favorite part that we're coming to.
It's the most wonderful time of the year for Oakland Zoo CEO, Nick DeHagia.
When you come and see this, you see the landmarks in Oakland. The Fox Theater, Chabot Space and Science Center, Children's Fairyland, Oakland Museum.
It's Glowfari's newest exhibit called The Future of Oakland.
We have so much conflict with wildlife, not just in Oakland, in the Bay Area. How do we ensure that animals, this is their home as well? How do they thrive and coexist together? Overpasses, sometimes it's underpasses.
Sitting in the morning sun.
It's a glowing love letter to the city of Oakland.
The Tribune building.
DeHagia and his team have been building these light exhibits throughout the zoo for more than a month. And now, colorful lanterns illuminate the sky.
Our regional transit, BART right here. And you know what's exciting about this? When you walk in, look at this. The whole idea is that you're seeing nature. You're seeing landscape.
Those lights, look.
Matt Greeny and his children visit the zoo at least once a week.
The Oakland Zoo is one of the jewels that the city has to offer, and in general, the East Bay.
It's their first time at Glowfari, but certainly won't be their last.
We already have our tickets for next month, too.
Bringing joy to families like the Greenies.
Thanks for coming to Glowfari.
Inspires DeHagia, who has been with the Oakland Zoo for the past 20 years.
This place brings so much joy to people every day. With the thousands of people that come in, almost 1 million every year.
And as he strolls through the Bug World exhibit, he's proud to see it all come to life.
Kind of scary.
Well, maybe not supersized bugs come to life.
Think about Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and here I am inside a log. How do I get out?
This holiday season, DeHagia hopes to send this message.
Nature is not a place to visit, it's our home. And that's what this is in Oakland. This is our home.
Whether you admire the twinkling lights from the sky or from the ground, he wants to share his dreams of a brighter future for the city he loves.
That is so fun. Okay, well, another holiday performance in San Francisco. It's evolving for 40 years. Never does the same show twice. Itai Hod introduces us to this year's conductor of the Dance Along Nutcracker.
For
decades, orchestras around the world have rung in the holidays the same way, with a rumble of tuning and Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker just beginning to stir. But here in the heart of San Francisco, a very familiar score is about to take an undeniably wicked turn.
This year, we're going to go into the magical world of Oz.
Whenever I see someone.
Michael Wong is the guest conductor of this year's dance-along Nutcracker, the holiday show where audiences don't just watch, they join in.
Dancing through life.
And this time, it's heading straight down the yellow brick road.
How does Wicked and the Nutcracker go together?
Well, honestly, it really doesn't. The Nutcracker, if you think about it, doesn't really have much of a story. So every year we create a theme where Clara and Fritz go through some magical adventure.
Started in the 80s by the San Francisco Pride Band, the first openly gay music organization in the world, the dance-along began as an event for LGBTQ adults, until families started showing up. By the 90s, kids were twirling down the aisles, and the show became one of the city's most inclusive holiday traditions.
It's a new dawn, it's a new day.
This is cast member Zelda Koznovsky's 9th year, and her first as the villain.
How do you play a good villain?
How do you play a good villain?
You go like this a lot?
Yes.
Proceeds from the show help fund the band's free performances. But with the LGBTQ community facing its own kind of cyclone, this year's celebration lands with even more purpose.
There have been times where we're like, do we even need a queer band anymore? But with recent politics, it's much more important to really own who we are.
And if they get it right, the only thing melting this weekend will be the audience's hearts.
Coming up, how a couple of music historians solved a 60-year-old mystery and found the site in the Bay Area where the Grateful Dead played their first show. San Jose celebrated 60 years of the Grateful Dead with a commemoration this week at the place where it all began. Tracking down the location of the group's original show, though, was a challenging task. Len Ramirez introduces us to the duo who cracked the case.
It's all part of the great mystery.
It's the long, strange trip, right, Mark?
Yeah,
Dan Orloff and Mark Purdy are rock fans and South Bay rock historians, and they've spent 2 decades trying to solve a 60-year-old mystery. Where in San Jose did one of rock's greatest bands have their first ever performance as the Grateful Dead? They thought they had it pinpointed here where 5th Street now dead ends at San Jose City Hall.
which would be right over there behind these walls and actually on the side of the current San Jose City Council chambers.
It was December 4th, 1965. The group had just changed their name from the Warlocks to the Grateful Dead, and a friend, counterculture figure Ken Kesey, invited them to play at a house party where he was holding one of his infamous psychedelic acid tests. Purdy, a former sports columnist for the Mercury News, interviewed people who said they were there, and it was inside this large Victorian house.
And for years, that was the accepted thing.
The house once stood at 43 South 5th Street. It was moved in the early 2000s to St. John Street to make way for City Hall. But then, a rock relic emerged that turned the long-held story upside down. It's an original crayon poster for the acid test party, and this year it sold at auction for $37,500. The poster listed the party location as 38 South 5th Street. That house was damaged by fire, but it was saved and also moved a few blocks away to 4th Street. For Dan and Mark, it's been a wild ride.
I caught it first because of a news feed. Yeah. And I was like really happy. Oh my God, after 20 years, we're going to see the poster that commemorated 43 South 5th as the acid test.
This is actual physical evidence.
8 seconds later, I see 38, and I called Mark, oh, CRAP, right? And then the journey began. Yeah.
Mark went back to the drawing board and compared old city aerial photos with modern-day maps to see where 38 would have stood. And he literally marched off the plot lines to verify, to his relief, that the new location was still within the City Hall Plaza.
I'm still unraveling the mystery of why the poster says that, and everyone seems to say here, including somebody I've interviewed who was actually at the party.
But what could possibly account for the two conflicting locations?
I want to be kind in how I say this. This is 60 years ago, and people were taking LSD.
And happy Saturday! It's a beautiful start to the morning if you like the fog. But if you don't like the fog or the bad air quality, honestly, it's not that great. It's pretty hazy out there. It's pretty yucky, I would say. There's a lot of particulate matter in the air if I want to be a little bit more scientific about it. This is our view. It is pretty gloomy to start off our day for most of the Bay Area because not only fog, but like I said, really bad air quality. Not only unhealthy for sensitive groups, but there's also some areas that are just unhealthy in general. So you're going to be noticing a lot of that haze sticking around today. If you noticed it yesterday, you'll notice it once again today, and it's going to stick around for most of the Bay Area through the rest of the weekend and into early next week, as there's an area of high pressure that's just going to stay stagnant and really not allow the air to move all too much into the upcoming week. So keep that in mind. It's going to be pretty similar weather over the next several days. Early morning fog giving way to afternoon sunshine. The fog, though, across our inland East Bay communities, it's likely going to stick around all day, and it's going to take a while for the fog that's there right now to lift. It's not going to be until the late morning and early afternoon, but like I said, inland East Bay, you might not even see the sun this afternoon, and that is going to be the reason that those high temperatures, you'll notice those areas in blue, are going to be a little bit cooler, mid-50s across our inland East Bay up to the North Bay, but the farther south you go, the warmer it gets. So if you want to enjoy some 60s, just drive a little bit down south towards the Santa Clara Valley or Monterey Bay, where you're going to be seeing those mid to lower 60s. By tomorrow, everybody is going to be seeing slightly warmer conditions, as there isn't going to be as much fog, although there is still going to be fog to start off the morning tomorrow. By the afternoon hours, that fog that was once pretty thick across our inland East Bay communities will lift by the late morning. You'll notice those areas that were once in blue no longer in blue. Widespread 60s are expected all across the Bay Area. This is tomorrow afternoon. High temperatures are going to be a degree or two warmer than today. But the other big issue that we're concerned about is the king tides. There is going to be coastal flooding. High tide is at 11:25 this morning. So keep that in mind. Anywhere from a foot to 1.7 feet of inundation in those low-lying areas is expected. We're also going to be concerned a little bit more about the potential for bad air quality to stick around again through the end of the week. But the warm weather is likely going to stay pretty nice. At least it's not going to get colder than what we're expecting and what we've been seeing over the past several days. Mid to upper 50s across those inland areas, with every day seeing early morning fog giving way to afternoon haze, as again the air quality is going to stay pretty bad as that high pressure sits overhead. It's likely not going to be until the middle parts of December that the more active weather pattern will be heading our way, so you can put the umbrella away for now, but just keep your eyes on the fog. Back to you.
Got it. Thanks, Zoe. Okay, coming up, we meet some young people who are seizing an opportunity for a fresh start. The innovative program that helps incarcerated youth pursue degrees from UC Berkeley. Finally this morning, an unusual path to a college degree. Students in the San Leandro Juvenile Justice Center could soon be among the first incarcerated youth to graduate from UC Berkeley. Suji Nam introduces us to the woman who runs the forward-looking program.
For Shawnee Shea, stepping inside a classroom is personal.
We are in the UC Berkeley cross-enrollment classroom.
As the founder of Incarceration to College, Shea helps oversee Cal professors teaching ethnic studies at the San Leandro Juvenile Justice Center.
What is foundational violence? What is the logic of racialization? I am formerly incarcerated. I am a 6-time felon, as some people will call me, and I experienced domestic violence throughout my life.
But Shea found her light when a mentor suggested college, and at the age of 28, she had gotten into UC Berkeley.
I started going back to school literally out of fear of poverty and fear of not having access to a meaningful employment.
And now, with a bachelor's degree from Cal and a master's from Harvard, Shay is helping incarcerated youth find their purpose in life.
We had a convening the other day. One youth said, the truth is that the only way out of my environment was literally to become a basketball player or a rapper. Education is their opportunity to re-engage in the world that has pushed them out time and time again.
Paris, who asked to remain anonymous, is taking courses with UC Berkeley and Laney College.
I'm currently on my way to getting a double AA in social studies and language arts English.
He's been in juvenile detention for nearly 3 years and has 1 more year left to serve.
It's been my motivation to leave here as a man instead of a child.
And Paris is looking forward to earning his diploma and a life outside of incarceration.
Something I can put on my wall and tell my kids I did it. A lot of my family never finished college. I was giving courage to my mom to go back to school and finish school, and she is currently enrolled in college as well.
And for Shay, students like Paris is what motivates her every day.
We know that our youth are more than sports. There's nothing wrong with that. We love that. But that's the hope that we want. We want our youth to feel powerful. We want them to know that they are powerful.
Empowering students on a similar path to her own to keep going.
Wow, that's a really cool program. Well, thank you guys so much for watching KPIX News this morning. Do not forget the news continues all day streaming on CBS News Bay Area. We will be here tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock sharp. Enjoy your Saturday, everybody.